guys, Mustang here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and very soon on Global, the EZA for the 3 Great Apes is dropping, global exclusive, obviously very exciting stuff. The weird thing about this is the event is dropping at a really odd time. I'm not sure if events have ever dropped at this time in the past, but if you're watching this video like the second it goes up, the event's going to be out within the next couple of hours, which is weird. Events don't normally come out at this time, so it's a bit of a weird one, but for me it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is actually a pretty convenient time. So I will be streaming the EZA, so if you are watching this, if you're not subscribed, hit that button, hit the bell so you can be notified when the stream goes live, and we will be running through this. So because it's a global first, there is no page on it yet for the wiki because some of the details are still unknown, but we do know that the weakness category for the EZA is Giant Ape Power. I talked about this in the video recently where we talked about, whether you should buy Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and talking about him being on the banner and everything. Because obviously he is the main leader for this category. Now the category is kind of restrictive, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't put a typing restriction. Like a lot of the EZAs, when you get to stage 20, you can't use, let's say, like AGL units, for example, because they get that 80% damage nerf. Now it's possible that they do still do that, but the category is quite small. And obviously, because this is a multi-unit EZA, what they normally do is you would say fight like Vegeta for 10 stages, Raditz for 10 stages, and then Goku for 10 stages. I kind of feel like Vegeta will be the last one because Vegeta has more of that last boss vibes, being that he is, the last boss of the Saiyan saga. He has big bad bosses. So I imagine the last 10 stages, and then if you choose to go past stage 30, I assume will be against Vegeta, but obviously, once the event does actually come out and we know everything 100%, I can always put a pinned comment with some more updated information. So, because the typings will change throughout the course of the event, you might want to change up your team a little bit, but I think that means they probably won't put a restriction on the typings. So, as always with my team building guides, we're going to go through my top picks and some honourable mentions. If there's any units that I miss out or you think I should have talked more about, let me know down below in the comments. And smash the like button if you find the video helpful, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let us go ahead and jump in. So obviously straight away we have to talk about in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Talked about him extensively over the last couple of days because of him being available now for the red coins and everything. He is the main Giant Ape Power leader, 3 key 170 across the board, so obviously he is the best leader for this event. He's designed really for short events. He gets that huge 240% attack and defense with his full passive active, as well as being effective against all types for the first 8 turns. So this pretty much, I guess maybe if you get past stage 100, but you're not going to be going longer than 8 turns in an EZA, probably anytime soon. So he's going to have his full passive active. He's also obviously got a 50% chance to counter super attacks, which is going to be really good. As you get to the last few stages, I wouldn't be surprised if he does start to take a bit of damage if he doesn't counter the supers, because the counter is nice, but in harder content, when you get hit with a super, you still take a reasonable amount of damage. But even at stage 30, the EZAs aren't exactly the hardest content in the game if you are running the optimal team under a 170 lead. So this Gogeta is going to do very, very well. Obviously, he is the best bet for your leader, but he's going to be a very strong unit on the team as well. So next up, obviously a lot of this is going to depend on whether you summoned on the Heroes banner last year or not, because we have the Super Saiyan 4 Broly is a Giant Ape Power sub-lead for 130% to stats, so you could use him as the leader. Obviously if the final stages and then beyond 30 end up being against Vegeta, he's going to have type advantage over him, which is obviously going to be a little bit of extra added utility. He does get most of his he gets all of his stats basically on Super, so he's not a slot 1 unit. But he works really well, especially linked up with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So he is a very strong option for the team. And even if Vegeta isn't the last stage, you could potentially just put him on your team for the Vegeta stages and then just switch him out afterwards, because he's obviously going to be doing a lot of damage with that type advantage. So he's a decent sub leader, maybe not the best option, but when it comes to just straight out Giant Ape Power category leads, he's obviously a very good sub lead. Then we of course have the Gohan from the Heroes banner as well. He has a 120 sub lead for Giant Ape Power, He's a unit that's going to be really good if you do want to go beyond stage 30 to grind for Zenny. He's going to be really, really good on this team because he's not even a TUR. He has 140% attack and defense, and then he has 40% damage reduction when there are another 4 or more Giant 8 power allies on the team. So since you are basically going to be making a full Giant 8 power team, he's going to have that passive active. So damage reduction is obviously very, very good. So he's going to be tanking really well even into the later stages and past stage 30. He has a high chance to stun on super, but obviously that's not going to factor in for an EZA. So especially for like a non-TUR unit, this guy's really, really good. And you could use him as a sub lead. He has the 120 leader skill, but I think there are probably better options when it comes to building slightly different builds of the team, like not just using a Giant 8 power leader. Because, for example, you have the GT Super Saiyan Goku and the GT Super Saiyan Vegeta. Both of these guys are on Giant 8 power literally just because of the animation from their active skill, but obviously these two are insanely good units, probably still the best 2 TURs on global at the moment. So, you know, they're definitely worth bringing along. And with their leader skill, it's actually very possible to make like a full GT Heroes Giant 8 power team, or well, a GT Heroes mixed with Goku Family, and then you can take advantage of some of those like LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku or the EZA Super Saiyan 4s that obviously don't have a leader skill specifically geared towards making a Giant 8 power team, but you can make a good combination of them together under these leader skills. So these guys are definitely decent ways to build the team if you don't have a proper Giant 8 power lead. I believe the Goku one is much easier. I don't know actually if there are many Vegeta family units that are on Giant 8 power that aren't already in like GT, but you can definitely make a combo with the Goku family to make a full Giant 8 power team. And obviously, regardless of whether you're going to use them as the leaders or not, these two are going to be super, super good to have on the team anyway. So very, very important to bring them if you have them. Next up, we have this Gohan. So this Gohan is probably the next best choice sub-lead for a lot of people, especially if you didn't summon on Heroes. Because if you've done the ESBR stages and EZA'd him, he does have an all-types 120 leader skill. He also is really, really good defensively, as long as you have a Goku on rotation. So if you're running the GT Super Saiyan Goku or one of the Super Saiyan 4 Gokus, then his passive is going to be active, and he's a really, really strong defensive unit. So if for people who are lacking the Heroes units, this guy is probably going to be your best choice for a sub-lead if you do not have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Because there is a free-to-play, like GT Great Ape Vegeta, but obviously his leader skill is quite low, so you don't really want to rely on him. Even if you don't have this guy EZA'd, like his leader skill is 77%, which isn't great, and his passive is obviously nowhere near as good, but he is an option for a sub-lead. So next up we have the EZA Super Saiyan 4s. I mean, do I really need to go into a huge amount of detail about them? Like, still two of the top tier EZAs, very, very strong. If the last 10 stages and beyond 30 are against Vegeta, then obviously Goku might start to take a little bit of damage as you go further through, especially if he doesn't counter a super attack. But we also, of course, have the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Now remember, in EZA events, the same name update thing does not apply, so you cannot use the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the EZA Super Saiyan 4s. Sadly for the LRs, the EZAs are so good that they pretty much outclass them, so you want to prioritize bringing them. But, like I said, if the last 10 stages are Vegeta and you want to go beyond that and Goku starts taking a little bit too much damage, you could always swap out the EZA Goku for the AGL LR Goku, because then him and this Vegeta together are still going to be really, really strong. Obviously, he won't have Legendary Power active, but he's still going to be very good. He has the active skill as well for doing some extra damage further into the event. So, yeah, if STR Goku starts to take a bit too much damage, switch him out for the LR if you have him. Otherwise, you probably just want to be running the STR one, because these guys are pretty crazy. But, you know, the LRs, if you don't have the EZA'd ones, they're still going to be very strong in this event as well. Vegeta will suffer the same sort of thing as Goku, though, where if the last stages are Vegeta, especially because he needs to get his 18 key to get his defense, so he could struggle a little bit. So you definitely want to use the EZAs over these guys first, if possible, and then switch these in if you don't have them, maybe switching Goku for the later stages. So Then we have Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Obviously, again, he's another Heroes unit, so some people might not have him, but he's really going to be good for this. He raises defense on Super. He's got reasonably good defense anyway, and then he is a giant 8 power support unit for 1 key and 20% attack and defense. He gives that same buff to crossover allies as well, so if you are using any of the Heroes Super Saiyan 4s, they're obviously going to get both of those buffs. And then he also has a 50% chance to counter super attacks. So if you have this guy, I feel like he's probably a must include on the team, even if you just end up using him as a 3rd slot floating support unit. He links up super well with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and with Broly. Like, he's just really, really good. So if you have this guy, I feel like he's probably a must bring on the team. I always like to bring support units rather than just bringing like 6 hard hitting units. So this guy's definitely worth having on the team. So next up, we have Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, the last of the Heroes Super Saiyan 4s. Now, obviously, again, if Vegeta is the final stages, maybe this guy's not going to be the optimal choice, but he is good. You have to build the team in a certain way, though, because he needs to have 4 or more crossover category allies on the team to get his full passive. So that means you are going to have to bring, like, all of the Heroes Super Saiyan 4s in order to be able to get him fully maxed out. And even then, actually, there's only 3 other Heroes Super Saiyan 4s, so you still need 1 more crossover ally to get his full passive. In the earlier stages, like let's say for example if the first 10 stages are against the physical Goku, then even without the full passive you could just put this guy on the team and he's going to be doing really, really well, because at the start of the fight when he's at full health, he has attacks effective against all types when HP is 80% or more, and guaranteed crit when HP is 90% or more. So obviously turn 1, when you're on full health, he's getting both of these things. So against the physical Goku, he's definitely going to be really effective, and then you could just switch him out, I guess, after the Goku. So he's definitely worth considering. Obviously, for people who pulled on the Heroes banners, you do have a few more options for this. Next up, we have the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So as I said before, with the LR Super Saiyan 4s, EZAs you can't run same name units, so you're only going to be running this guy if you don't have the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but he is Tech, so he's going to have type advantage over the Vegeta. He has okay stats after supering, but obviously he's starting to be a little bit outdated now. The one thing he does have over the Int one, of course, is that he has a 70% chance to counter super attacks, so that definitely could come in handy. So if you don't have Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he's definitely worth considering, but there are some more powerful options, especially if you have like the GT Super Saiyans and the Heroes units and stuff like that. So next up we have the AGL Wrathful Broly. This is kind of the last couple of honorable mentions here, because he definitely wouldn't make the ideal 6 for the team, but he is still a very strong unit. He's very good. He's on the category, so you know he's definitely going to help out, especially against like the Raditz where you have type advantage. He can still put out some pretty good numbers, so he's a pretty decent fill-in if you still need to fill that last slot on the team. Although obviously he doesn't link up insanely well with like a whole team of Super Saiyan 4s and things like that, but if you're running the GT Super Saiyans, you got orb changing, you're going to be able to get on pretty well with this guy. He builds up ki at the start of the turn as well, so you know you shouldn't struggle too much. And like I say, he can still put out some pretty strong numbers. He does also have a Pure Saiyan's lead, so I guess again he could be used as a sub leader if you're just running a bunch of the Pure Saiyan like Super Saiyan 4s and stuff, so he could be an option for that. And then the last honorable mention is the LR Baby. He's on the category. He's a good unit. I think he's underrated. Like, he has aged a little bit. He's kind of in that situation like the LR Bojack, where we're really waiting for a Dokkan Fest baby, and then I think he'll see a bit of a resurgence. The only reason he's only an honorable mention is because he doesn't really link up well with like any of the units that we've talked about, because he's extreme. He has links like Big Bad Bosses, Metamorphosis, Thirst for Conquest. Like, he doesn't fit in super well. He has GT with a couple of the units, but that's basically it. So he would make a decent pick if you have to fill out that 6th slot and you don't have anyone else to choose, but he's going to be a little bit wonky on the team, especially depending on what leads you pick, because he doesn't really fit under any of the sub leads that we've talked about unless they are a giant 8 power or all types leader. So that is the top picks and honorable mentions. This is that free to play Vegeta. His leader skill is only 50% though, so he's probably like your last resort as a free to play to use as a leader, but depending how new your account is, even as a free to play, it's very possible that you have the physical youth Gohan LR, who definitely is a better leader. Team Bardock are a support unit for super types. They could be okay, but they're just not very good defensively. So later on in the event, they'll definitely get crushed. Tora is an okay support unit, but you can't lower attack with him. He does give you a little bit of healing, but his stats aren't great. That pretty much goes for all like the Great Ape Bardock team members. None of them are particularly useful. Super Saiyan 3 Great Ape Goku's an okay support unit, but obviously he's going to have type disadvantage against Vegeta, and he's super old now. He's not very good defensively. Obviously, we have the 3 units that are actually getting their EZAs. As you EZA them up the steps, you could, I guess, filter them into the team, and they will be pretty good. But obviously, they don't get to be as fully effective until you've pretty much finished the EZA. So there you go, fairly limited category, but there's definitely a few different options. There are a few options you can use for leaders if you're missing out on the Gogeta, so there definitely are ways to get this done. So let me know down below what your planned team build for this event is. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming the EZA, so keep an eye out on the channel. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell button so you can be notified when the stream goes live. And I think this should be a pretty easy one for us to run through, and then I'm very much looking forward to trying out the EZA Great Apes, being that they are a global first. So let me know all your thoughts down below. As I said at the beginning, if you think I didn't talk enough about a specific unit, I missed out like a key thing about their kit, or there's just a unit that I didn't really talk about that you think I should, that maybe you want to bring along, let us know down below and we can continue the discussion in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.